My parents were pretty reluctant about letting me get a dog when I was younger. And as a kid who loved animals, especially dogs, this was like torture. I would do research about the benefits of owning a dog and write argumentative essays about why they should get us one, make PowerPoints, wish for a dog on my birthday and Christmas, and beg them to please get me one for like 7 years. But they turned me down every time. It's too much responsibility. You guys aren't gonna walk the dog or feed it, and we're gonna have to do all the work ourselves. How are we supposed to go on vacation if we have a dog? So yeah, I was pretty heartbroken. It seemed like I'd never be able to get a dog for the rest of my life, but I didn't want to stop trying. My main argument was still for them to get me a dog, but I knew that I wanted a pet in general, so as a side quest, I tried asking for other pets. Maybe that'd be more reasonable. I mainly wanted a pet that I could actually hold and play with, so I asked for a hamster, a ferret, a rabbit, and a turtle, and I ended up with my first pet, a goldfish. We went to the pet store one day, passed all the cool pets, and went to the fish section. There, my brother and I each picked out a 25-cent goldfish. My brother picked a classic shiny orange one, but I wanted mine to look cooler, so I got this goldfish that was half red and half white. It was kind of underwhelming compared to a dog, but I was pretty happy anyway. I named mine Red Stripe and my brother named his Goldie. Yeah, we were very creative when naming them. Despite Red Stripe just being a goldfish that I had no idea I was his owner, I really grew to love him. I would excitedly walk downstairs in the morning to feed him his fish flakes and watch him swim up to the surface to eat them, write songs about him, literally write down at what times he did what, like what time he would swim at the bottom of the tank as opposed to the top, and talk to him in a high-pitched voice like he was a dog. I also tried to pet him sometimes, but that didn't really work because he kept swimming away. But as you probably know, pet store goldfish don't last very long. So after a few months, I realized that Red Stripe wasn't looking so hot. He was swimming really slowly and in a strange motion, and he didn't even want to eat his fish flakes that he once loved. And then he died a few days later. I was devastated. Red Stripe was my best friend, and he was gone so soon. I cried a lot while my dad buried him in our backyard. A few years later, after more relentless begging, the unthinkable happened. My parents brought home a dog named Sophie. She was a Korean Jindo dog, a pretty big dog with white fur, pointy ears, and a curled tail, and she was about 3 years old. My brother and I were ecstatic about the fact that we had finally gotten a dog. However, Sophie caused a lot of trouble. She wasn't leash trained at all and would yank us by whenever we tried to walk her. She would jump on people, and she was very hyper. When she jumped onto my brother and scratched his face, that was the last straw for my parents. I had to watch as a car pulled up the next day and her new owners drove her away. I was really upset because yes, I did want a dog, but it hurt even more that I was given a dog for a few days and then she was taken away from me. I knew I definitely wasn't going to get a dog after Sophie, so I started looking into birds. One of my mom's biggest complaints about dogs was that they shed a lot, so I tried to convince her to get a hypoallergenic dog like a golden doodle, but that didn't work out. And I realized that hamsters and rabbits also shed. But birds have feathers, not fur, so maybe my mom would be more open to it? And it worked. That's how I ended up with a yellow parakeet that I named Mango. I really liked Mango. At first she was pretty shy, but she warmed up to me eventually. I taught her a lot of tricks, held her, and gave her treats. After about a year of having Mango, we thought maybe she might appreciate a companion, so we bought a second parakeet. This one was a white parakeet, and we named her Coco. They got along well, and Mango seemed less lonely afterwards. But one cold November day, Mango escaped from her cage and flew away. I called and looked for her for hours until it turned dark, and I looked the next day as well. I left her cage outside with her food in it, and I played parakeet sounds in hopes that she would come back, but I had no luck. The more hours that passed, the more hopelessness I felt. Eventually, I had to accept that she wouldn't ever come back because it was extremely cold and parakeets can't survive overnight in such cold environments. Coco lived alone for a couple more years until she passed away from old age. I hope they're flying free in heaven now. As I got older, I didn't beg as much as I did when I was little, but my desire for a dog still remained. I'd pretty much accepted the fact that after all these years, my parents found my begging very annoying and it was pointless. But one weekend, my parents were acting suspicious. At the time, I was at my dad's office with my mom, and when she got a call from my dad, she went outside to talk to him. She never does this, by the way. When she came back, I asked why she went outside, and she just said he went to go out and buy something. It still didn't explain why she went outside, but I just brushed it off. After being on the hopes and disappointment roller coaster for so long, I didn't really expect it to be a dog. But eventually we drove home, and my dad was standing awkwardly between his car and the garage, obviously trying to prevent me from getting in. I definitely knew something was off this time, and when my dad said, "I brought home a friend," my heart skipped a beat. Could it be? He opened the car door and lying on the ground was an English cream golden retriever puppy. The most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. After all those years, my wish finally came true. I was so happy that I started sobbing. I held her, took her into my backyard, and still could not believe that she was mine. We decided to name her Joey because she was such a joy to our family. She was my best friend from the day that my dad brought her home, and she still is today. 2 years later, we got a second golden retriever so that Joey wouldn't be lonely, and we had a hard time coming up with a name. I wanted to name him Toby, but my parents were like, that sounds like a name of a farmer living down in Texas. My mom wanted to name him Rice Cake in Korean, and I thought that was just weird. My dad was searching up dog name ideas, and we came across the name Nuka, which meant little brother in Inuit. It was perfect because Nuka was Joey's little brother, so that's what we decided on. Later I googled it, and apparently it also means bad smell in Swahili, so that's a shame. But oh well, it's too late now. Besides, he does kinda stink. I guess we were never good name givers, starting from the day we named our goldfish Red Stripe and Goldie. My mom still calls him Rice Cake in Korean because she thinks he looks like one. Currently, both of my dogs are doing very well, and I love them so much. The end. Thanks for watching.